What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, be sure to go down below the video, hit subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, unsubscribe from Michael B. the Game Genie, and welcome to the Super Game Room Dudes. Friday night just got live. Come on, Mike, let's do it. Come on. Any second now, buddy. Come on, you can do it. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Friday Funhouse. That's right, it's another episode of Super Game Room Dudes. I want to apologize in advance. Our longtime friend, mascot, likes to call himself the host of the show, P-Dubs Arcade Loft, won't be here tonight. Currently on vacation with his wife. They're enjoying scenic Disneyland. They're in California right now, seeing the sights. He got to ride the Millennium Falcon the other night. So, enjoy your break, P-Dubs. We'll see you back here real soon. Unfortunately, Carl, Detroit Love, won't be here tonight either for no reason at all. He wrote us literally like 5 minutes ago, and he's like, I'm not coming. Peace, y'all.
Yeah. That's a little abnormal for Carl. Carl is usually, he gives us several days notice. So that's okay. No? We all have our days. Some days we're just like, nah, I got more important shit to do. So
yeah, he was having trouble with his computer, and he was just like, yeah fuck y'all. I'm not coming.
Yeah. I can't imagine what could possibly be the problem. Could it be porn?
It might be all his porn. And the crazy thing, Carl is like a high-level ranking IT professional. Yet I've seen nobody have more troubles with computers than Carl.
I don't believe any of that. I think it's just a cover for his real job.
Total cover. Anyways, guys, we've got a fun panel here. We didn't know Carl wasn't going to be here. We knew P-Dubs wasn't going to be here. And we figured since we couldn't replace P-Dubs' charisma, we might as well at least add some sex appeal. And seeing it's Memorial Day weekend, what better way than to add a sexy veteran? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, your friend, Foxy Cleopatra. He's a whole lot of woman, 19K Fox.
I have no idea how to take any of that. Yes, welcome to the show and welcome to the what is basically an American Oreo sandwich. I'm excited to be in this international discussion of gaming greatness.
Tariffs.
You can turn the view into a proper Oreo, can't you, Mike? Make it just for a couple seconds. Let's get a real Oreo. Oh, hold on.
Real, almost.
Here we go.
Hey! Ooh. Oh, Canada. Right here.
That's right.
How's it feel to be in the middle of two great nations?
Well, I got to tell you, it's the first time it's ever happened to me personally. And
anyways, I'm glad Fox could make it. I actually asked Fox to be here last week, and we had to take our Timu Fox, which is, another right-wing conspiracist. James hates everything, but I'm glad we got the real one back this week. Yeah, James did a good job, eh?
He did a great job, yeah. No, I was traveling, so this is a weird time in my life. My niece graduated high school, which is usually not a big deal, but she is the second youngest of all the grandchildren. My son is the youngest of the grandchildren. He is graduating next week. So I was in transit last week. And then after all this happens, these kids graduate, they move on. I don't know what to do with my hands and my money. The car handled real good.
Well, I told you what to do with your money. I've been sending you posts for pinball machines, secondhand pins.
I think you're starting to have an effect on me. I think that I'm really seriously considering it.
You know, the funny thing is, I
Yeah.
used to actually be in your
Yeah.
defense because Justin was heavy on you. Like, I was starting to think
Oh,
there was some weird sexual thing going on there. He was like, "Yeah,
But
Fox,
there's
buy
always
a
a
pin.
sexual thing. It's
Buy a
fine.
pin, Fox."
It's fine.
And I was always like, "Hey, leave him alone, guys. He'll spend his money on what he wants."
And then you're like, buy a pin. Buy a
Buy a
pin, you
pin.
bastard. It's like, I don't understand. But no, it's you know what? I'm making some room. I'm making some room in the arcade. There's some crucial decisions having to be made to accommodate other things. There may be a spot for pinball, real pinball, in the future.
Yeah. So, which way are you leaning? I sent you a Star Trek the other day that seemed to catch your interest a little bit, and then Justin was like, "No, buy Iron Maiden," which he's probably right. Iron Maiden's incredible. I just don't know if that's a band for you. Like, I'm a big hair metal guy. I love Maiden, but
Being born in the 70s, it's odd that I'm a kid of the 90s or a fan of the 90s. So I tend
so
to
you
gravitate towards.
be more of a 98 degrees pin kind of guy.
For God's sakes, no, definitely not. No, it's not.
It's
not at all.
the hardest
Nuke is on the
thing
block
I
all the
ever
way.
had to
Damn
do. To turn around and walk away pretending I don't love you.
I'm hearing good things about Lethal Weapon. Maybe
Yeah,
Lethal Weapon 3 is the way to go.
3. Lethal Weapon 3 is a good introductory
Yeah.
pin. One of our buddies in the community, I'm trying to remember his name now. Geez, I feel I'm horrible with names, but anyways, he had it for a little while.
I'm sure he
recently-
appreciates that. Yeah.
I know, and I feel like such a bag of shit for not remembering, but I'm terrible with names. I really am. Like, really am.
Well, nostalgia. When you need to chime in on the real pinball debate. Do you care? Is it worth it? What are your thoughts?
I think, well, it's not that I don't care. I want to make that clear. I just
Right.
am in a position that do with your money as you please. If you want to buy a real
Sure.
pinball machine, I'll support that. And if you say fuck
Sure.
that, I'm going to buy something else. I'm going to buy a radiator for the van. That's cool too. You know what I mean? Spend your money how
But
you.
what are your do you like it enough to justify the $7,000 purchase? Let's just say.
I wish
or
it were
six.
$7,000 in Canada. Like, we're talking
Yeah.
stupid money here. It's just expensive. So,
Mm.
do I like it enough that I would buy it? Yes. But I would buy it for all the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. So to be fair, I would buy a Batman Dark Knight pinball machine.
Oh, that machine is
to
so
go with.
stupid.
I know it's
So
not
stupid.
great. It's not a great
But
game.
it looks
Horrible.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
looks fucking fantastic. And
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
a Dark Knight replica 1-to-1 suit that was like
Yeah.
thousands of dollars on a mannequin, and I would just set it up in my Batman space, and like that's why I would do that. But from my perspective on your purchasing, what I would suggest is if you're going to buy any pinball machine, you have to buy the best pinball machine. And if you buy any less
God.
than the best,
Oh my
you're
God.
not the
Nope.
best. Street Fighter, the pinball game.
Street Fighter Capcom.
That's
is
the
so
one you
bad.
need. You need to
Well-
pick up some Street Fighter.
So you're saying if you buy the best, you're the best. Now, technically, I have the number 1 and 2 pins according to Pinside. So that means I'm the fucking best, baby.
Yeah, but there's exceptions to all the rules, Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So do we go for theme or do we go for ranking? Because I mean, is there a Dragon Ball Z pinball machine out there?
That would
There
be-
should be. There should be.
There
100%.
should freaking absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so-
we got some sad news in the world of Dragon Ball this past week.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys know
It's tough.
Nostalgia makes fun of me all the time because he goes, "No, you're Yajirobe, Mike, you piece of shit." But like I've always been the fondest of the Saiyan Prince Vegeta. That's always been my guy. That's my character, and especially Goku too. Goku's a quick number 2. But unfortunately, the voice actor for Vegeta passed away at 66 yesterday. So
the original
that's heartbreaking.
English
Yep.
voice
Yeah.
actor. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, Vegeta's
Mhm.
by far the most interesting character. You may
Oh,
have
100%.
favorites. I tend to gravitate towards Goku because he always wins, I guess.
Yeah.
But Vegeta has the most interesting arc. I mean, everyone else sort of plateaus at some point. Piccolo, Gohan. Vegeta continues to have this this interesting path. So yeah. So a
He-
damn
he
damn
had
shame.
the-
Yeah.
He had the largest like story arc turn. He came in as this
Yes.
really big bad villain that
Yeah.
you didn't think he was gonna like anyone could get away from, and then he ends up being one of the best allies in the Z Fighters. So it's just like a massive spin.
Well,
And he's got such a fucking wide just a
I'm-
wide character span. So.
I mean,
It's
if you watch Dragon Ball before that, this is kind of what they do. I mean, you know, Piccolo, even Tien, they were all the bad guys, and then eventually they become
Sure.
good guys. This is the way it goes. But Vegeta was probably the last really big one. Like Majin Buu came back, but like not really. You know what I mean?
Not really.
He
Well,
was
but I
never
think
really
Vegeta really
evil.
had that, and you said Majin Buu. He had the pull to the dark side. Basically, he went back for a little. When he was Majin Vegeta, he was evil. Where he embraced that once again. He embraced that pride. It dipped his toe kind of in the evil, right? And then immediately redeems himself in the ultimate way. It's such a great story. His whole arc is awesome.
Favorite Vegeta moment?
When he sacrifices himself to take out Majin Buu.
Ooh.
What about you,
Really?
Nostalgia?
I like him. I think this is like super lame, but my favorite Vegeta moment is on planet Namek right before Frieza shoots to kill him, and he just begs Goku to like avenge their planet.
Another great moment. Yeah.
My favorite moment is actually from one of the movies. It's Dragon Ball Z. I forget what it's called now. It's
Super Android 13.
No. It's the one where Frieza comes back, and right after they started the whole gods thing. And anyways, Vegeta finally fights Frieza, and he reveals that he's also got the god form too, and he finally beats Frieza. And you're like, yes. He's the winner, not Goku. Finally, once. But then, of course, they do this weird thing, and they got to go back in time and stuff like that.
They always do that, yeah.
They've always got to take his goddamn.
Every time he's there, they just rip it away from him.
Yeah. All right, guys. So a couple things I want to make sure we don't miss it here in the chat. Our buddy Rotundo has re-upped his member for 41 months. Thank you very much, Rotundo. We also got a $10 super chat from our buddy Jason Little Alien. Thank you to all veterans of this great nation. That's an amazing statement. Thank you to all veterans, even though we're in Canada. I know your president will appreciate this. Thank you for defending us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for that incredible space arm. You guys did good work.
And we also got a new one down here from our buddy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, the Super Saiyan Room dudes. Yeah, we are the branch of the Vacation Alliance, formerly Illuminati, that likes to talk about the Dragon Ball Z. So, yeah, everybody else is just like, what are you talking about, nerds?
What do you mean?
Yeah, nobody has any idea what we're talking
They
about.
have no clue what we're talking about.
There's like 3 people here that know, and all 3 of us are on the panel right now. So.
We've alienated the entire audience. It's pretty good. It's quite an achievement.
So I really quickly before Nostalgia goes through the people here in the chat, or I'll have to do it because I don't think he has access. But I finally finished Dragon Ball Daima. Really rough start, and like it had so many Dragon Ball GT vibes. Like it was really pissing me off. But what a strong finish, man! Like awesome in the end. Totally awesome.
Incredible. I haven't. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Did you watch that in English or did you?
In
watch
English.
That was gonna be my question. Yeah,
in English. My brother hooked me up with Crunchyroll, not last Friday, but the Friday before. I finished Super Game Room Dudes, and I went down, and it usually uploads late Friday night, early Saturday morning for some Dragon Ball goodness. And I was like, yeah, I'll just watch one episode before bed. And they had uploaded the last 2 episodes for like one huge finale. And I was like, we're all in, baby.
Incredible.
I got a root beer, stayed up way too late. Let's rock and roll.
So good.
Yeah. Also, Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, member for 43 months. That's fuck, man. It's crazy to believe we've been on the air for that long, let alone somebody's been a member for that long. Thank you very much, Ezekiel. You're the best, man. Literally the best. Well, Rotundo too, 41 months. Jeez.
I just got a notification on Tuesday that this channel has existed for exactly 4 years.
That's crazy, man. Yeah,
exactly 4 years. So we're right there, right on our anniversary week. So,
well, we existed before the channel existed, right? Because we used to multi-stream it on all the different channels, all the hooks and wheels to try to get people to watch. Like, you know, P-Dubs was like, "Hey, that Mike B guy's got 20,000 subscribers. Let's do it on his channel." And you got 20.
Yeah. That's fair. P-Dubs is literally the only one that's ever used people for clout.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
So that's what it
that's an accurate statement. I believe so. Yeah.
Gallagher Guy, $88.99 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I have to watch it in English dub. Sean is my Goku. Really
I do
nice.
like him as Goku.
Yeah.
I also
Excellent.
like Christopher Sabat as Vegeta too. Like I do like him as the current Vegeta.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit different, but I'm okay with it. Can you imagine if they
both of them actually?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you imagine if they went with Vegeta's original coloring? Remember the first couple episodes of Dragon Ball
the
Z?
brown.
And he was wearing the green and the brown. I was like,
yeah. No, I don't know what was going on there. It was not a good look. No.
Anyways, before we lose every single person in the chat, I think we should talk about something other than Dragon Ball. We'll come back to it.
We'll talk about Arcade1Up, and that's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah. The whole show.
All right. Want to say hello to the people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. JJ, one of our favorite people, always here. He was on really excited about the topics tonight. C Marble 360. I'm going to tell you, C Marble, I miss a lot of stuff in P-Dub's Discord. I'm going to have to go back and look for it, but I got a Discord too. Probably easier to get me there if you want to give me something, or I could just be a big boy and go to P-Dub's Discord. I apologize. We've also got Biggie D's Arcade says, let's go. I had to boot Biggie from my Discord this week, unfortunately. So
was it unfortunate?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I like Biggie, but like I got a rule, like no sharing stuff from the Discord and other Discords. Unfortunately, he broke it, so that sucked. To the Be Me, it's Friday, time for the Super Game Room dudes. Corner Cade's here. Jason Little Alien, we saw a super chat from him earlier. Mad Dog, Show Gecko, Retro Arcade Trooper is here. Paul Mindeman. I know Paul is super excited. Paul loves the thumbnail, the fact we're going to talk about the licensing expo that just happened in Vegas. Dennis B is here. Dan Z, Dan in St. Louis. Good to see you as always. Stock Jock, let's start this party rocking with some good electric guitar intro. Stock Jock, I had you in mind this week. Carl was messing around with some shit, and he might have a new theme song for Super Game Room dudes.
Don't spoil it, buddy.
And he tried to make a pop song, but I shut it down. Don't worry. I shut it down.
It wasn't a pop song, Mike. It was actually more hip hop than it was pop.
Yeah, I shut that shit down. Shut that down.
R&B is a different story.
Yeah.
R&B, fine.
Foth Og 13, Harley K, where are the dudes? I'm sorry, guys. We were a little bit late. We were waiting for nostalgia.
Mike, try that name again, please.
What?
Try to say that name again, except properly.
Fathog 13.
Nope. Keep going. You can get it. This one's not that hard.
13.
Say it one more time.
Fathog.
Fat Hog, man.
Fat Hog 13. Okay, thank you very much. Mike Hockhurts is here. Mike Hockhurts is elite. JT Brunick, the golfing pro. John Fritz, Porta Dream, Meatball Saucy. Guys, if you ever get a chance to play mini golf with Meatball online in VR, if he is not loaded to the gills, you're doing yourself a disservice. His hole-in-one dance is epic. Epic. He plays as this bird from the Dark Crystal, and it is a sight to behold. Quentin is here. Fist of Love. Steve Sale. Good to see you, Steve Sale. We got to catch up in mini golf soon, too, buddy. Sathius is here. Nova Sonic. It's me. It's Michael M. Brian G is here. Brooklyn Menace is here. Nerd Jock. Distillery Gaming. Distillery, I don't know if I've seen you before. Welcome to the channel, brother. Darian Steruk. Sorry if I said that wrong. Billy Woods Mods. Vic Vicious, James Hates Everything, MSU Rich. Am I got everybody? I think we're almost up to date. People were excited about the HBO intro. Goofy Foot's here, not on a 6-hour road trip to get a Data East Jurassic Park pin. B Kirby is here. Bobby Broadway, longtime viewer. Good to see you, Bobby Broadway. Danny Johnson. Who else we got? Filthy Bill, Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Patrick Murphy. Yeah, that Filthy Bill is some name, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's about 3 levels.
I think that's everybody. John Fritz, if I haven't said you already, guys. I can't forget the Grandmaster MG. One of the nicest, sweetest people. Would never say anything rude about anybody. Never do anything to hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody uncomfortable.
Mike,
just like an overall swell guy.
He's the king of sarcasm, and I love it.
I like
community
it.
Would fall apart without him.
Listen. I love MG personally. Me and him are besties. That's what he said personally.
I believe
Maurice McCorkle. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Sorry, P-Dubs chimed in as well. If I missed anybody, I am tremendously sorry. Oh, James hates everything. I don't get the reference, but $2 super chat. Turducken is my tofu.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you see Moats in the chat?
Moats in
Did
the
you say
chat.
Moats in the chat. Moat would actually be on the show tonight if it wasn't for you, Mike, because I actually tried to get him, tried to convince Mike to have Moat on, but he was like, no,
He
absolutely
shot
not.
it down,
So,
didn't he?
just unbelievable. I don't know why he's refusing to let Moat be
bastard.
on Super Game Room,
It's
dudes.
horrible.
It's
uncalled for.
infuriating, but
Yeah.
Moat, I just want you to know I've got full confidence in you being on the show at some point, but it may have to wait until an episode where Mike's not going to be on because
fair.
he
Makes
just keeps
sense.
cock blocking.
It's
No, it makes
definitely my
Yeah.
fault. I'm trying to block it. I was thinking Moat didn't want to be on, and P Dubs would be upset because he invited him. So we would wait until P Dubs was back to have him on.
That's not what you told me. That's okay. Though.
You piece of
Oh
shit.
my God.
B Kirby, thank you very much, man. Gifted 10 Super Game Room Dudes memberships. Fret Burners here. Who else we got? Anybody? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Gone. Perfect. Sounds good. All right, guys. So let's get started with the topics. I guess the best place to start tonight would be the Vegas Licensing Expo. So apparently, we saw pictures on Facebook. John D was at the Licensing Expo representing Media1Up, representing various different brands he's probably working with. Arcade1Up was there as well. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think this means for the immediate future of home arcade?
Fox, you can go ahead and start with this one, buddy.
I'll answer this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing because nothing's
no.
coming out. There's nothing going on right now. So, you know, it's not something that I would get immediately excited about and start putting money away for cabs because right now retailers, they're not buying this shit. They still have warehouses full of it. So I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it doesn't mean anything for the immediate future. But I guess for some people, it can lead to hope. I know Neo Hyper 64 was pretty optimistic about it. And he wanted to talk about a lot of speculation stuff. So we can kind of go in that direction. I mean, John, put out a pretty positive message that this is a big future, a bright future for home arcade. I mean, I'm sorry to be pessimistic right now, but with nothing going on, do you take those words as having any weight, not having any weight? What do you think about this? Both Arcade1Up and Media1Up were there, of course, representing different brands. Is there a big future for home arcade? Like, have they secured new licenses, cool stuff? What do you think? Let's go with you first, Fox.
I think absolutely. I think this is nothing but positive. I think that the barriers that once restricted home arcades have been blown wide open. WrestleFest, is just the beginning. It's just the start. Think about it all. You're going to have so many classics. You're going to have Qbert, finally. You're going to have, Road Blasters. You're going to have AVP. Any Batman you could possibly think of nostalgia is coming. This is nothing but positive, nothing but good. It's just, I can't wait to spend tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars on all the products that's going to just flood your local Walmart. It's wonderful.
If I didn't know any better, I would say that was slightly sarcastic.
Oh, the sarcasm meter broke during the middle of that.
Yeah. It just pegged and broke. I think that this is... Here's the thing that kind of gives me pause and makes me kind of think, okay, so Basic Fun came out and made some waves with nothing, no images, not even a freaking video interview, an audio video, dropping these little hints and well, actually not hints, saying that they were going to have titles like WrestleFest. Is it possible that the conversation has opened up? Is it possible that Arcade1Up is just shitting the bed? Like, they have nothing. They're now going to be competitive or actively seeking and pursuing some of these licenses. Media1Up has produced really nothing. I mean, there's no production model. There's no UI. There's no details on what pre-order people that have actually pre-ordered the product are going to receive. So there's a lot of questions out there. Is it possible that now the market is a little bit more aggressive towards these licenses? The license holders are probably sitting fat, very happy. What does that mean for us, the end user? I don't think it means much of anything right now. I really don't. I think that we're kind of in this holding pattern that we've been in for 2 years. And I don't see anything at all that would suggest something different. I mean, he did this exact same pose, remember, I think 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, where he was covering up the Media1Up name, but it was exactly the same pose. I'm glad he's out there. I've been vocal about, I've met the man personally. I've been there with him. I've seen the passion. He doesn't lack any passion. But what he lacks, I think, is execution. We haven't seen John D's Media1Up company stand on its own and bring a product to the consumer.
Well,
sorry, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're not designed to actually bring the end product to the consumer. I mean, they're going to work through third parties, like
which is my point. So if Media1Up is at a licensing convention, what does that mean for us?
It means, like, the reality is he's working there to secure licenses to his brand that he can then bring to third-party companies. We know Iconic Arcade. We're assuming maybe Basic Fun. We're assuming maybe some other companies are involved. We heard some stuff with Unico a little while back before they started making really, really terrible handheld products. So,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I find it funny, the difference in the pictures there. So I wanted to show this. So here's John, and he's clearly in his hotel room, maybe after exiting the bathroom. And then if you take a quick look here, I'll get the other one up. You look at the way Arcade1Up shared this, and I don't often do this, but Arcade1Up are coming off pretty good here. I mean, like, this picture of them at the licensing expo, having their booth set up, actually super professional. Like, they don't have anything there I give a shit about. I do like that Mortal Kombat
but they had
tab. I have
something there.
But they have something there. And let's see if I can actually blow this up here. I want to show you this. Eagle-eyed people might have missed this. Look at Cyrus over there having a secret meeting. Look. Oh, yeah, we're going to make so many Pac-Mans. It's going to be crazy.
If I was Cyrus, I would also hide.
Where's the game, Cyrus?
Excel's the future.
Yeah, but I go back to the John picture now. Hold on.
Whoa, hey!
Whoa.
We love your Facebook. Look at that.
That's not.
Can we bring that up again?
Gosh, Mike.
What?
You
There was
gotta
no
get better at
nudity.
this.
There was no nudity, you weirdo.
That's okay. Well, let's say you got lucky this time.
Yeah. Oh, there is some stuff on my Twitter that is not PC friendly. Let me tell you that.
Oh, wow. Well done, Mike. Good job.
So I'll go back to John and I'll just show this again. Again, like, I mean, it's really cool that he's there, but this picture doesn't inspire. He's not on the floor. He's not in front of a logo. At least when we saw him doing something before, he was in front of the Namco logo, and you're like, oh.
He was in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh, so he might be doing something with Namco, right?
Sure.
Hold on. Wait. That depends. What you guys are doing is comparing potentially apples to oranges. Was John there as an exhibitor, or was he there as an attendee?
He was there as an attendee, I assume.
No.
So that's different than being an exhibitor.
Yeah.
Right? So Arcade1Up was set up. They had a booth. They were an exhibitor. So they had to have a presence. If John's there as an attendee, he doesn't need a booth. He's not going to have a booth. That wouldn't make any sense.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and then there's another big thing that I think you guys have both missed about this, and why this could be actually a big deal that Arcade1Up and both John D are at this event. So there was this company that a lot of people actually really loved. It was called iArcade. And they had some arguably,
yes, everyone loved it. Yeah,
they had the best licenses that were available in the home arcade space. And since they have taken a sabbatical, a lot of those licenses are now available. So perhaps we're going to get a Donut Dodo arcade machine from somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah, could be.
That would be pretty slick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, Paul says this is the photo that comes before the products get created. Paul, I appreciate your positivity, man, and I really hope it happens. Like, I do. Like, I apologize. I know I'm being pessimistic, maybe, about this stuff now. Like, seeing like these guys at this event, and it's just you have to base temper your expectations based on current production. Like for people to say like the levee's about to break, all kinds of stuff are coming out. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
realistic with what we've seen the last
Well,
2.5, 3 years.
And I think we all of us had a fondness for Arcade1Up, you know, and I still love
100%.
what they did. I love what they did. They still have some good stuff out there. A couple weeks ago or last week, I talked about, hey, if you get into Arcade1Up today, these are the cool things you can buy right now. But I just said it. I mean, okay, Paul, to your point, this is the picture before all the great stuff happens. We just had a picture of him before. The one where Namco is behind him. Great things are coming, you know. The picture before that where he was at another licensing convention. All this stuff is great. All the promises are there. I was there. I met with the man. I saw the prototype. There is a lot of things to like, sure. But when you see no progress between January and now, it's difficult for me to continue to be positive when you don't see anything moving forward. Now, as soon as we see something positive, some sort of iteration, some sort of version 2 of their prototype, man, I'm going to be excited to talk about that. That's going to be great. But I'm not going to invent something out of thin air. It's just not, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's not being honest with your audience, which is something I'm done with that part. Like the speculation was fun when we didn't know, we had no track record to kind of look back on. Now that we have that, I think my expectations have absolutely been tempered. And it's not just because I prefer full-size arcades or I have more full-size arcades. It's because I've seen the promises, I've seen some of the throughput or the product not live up to those promises. I've seen that too many times.
Fox, can I give you a little bit of advice? Just a little
Absolutely.
bit? You can, okay.
Absolutely.
So this is coming from somebody who I don't make good videos. And I've somehow managed to scrape together 45,000 subscribers. It is much more fun to lie to your audience than to be honest.
Oh yeah, you tell them this air fryer at Amazon
right.
is incredible, guys. Go buy it.
Guys,
you're right.
Hold on, Mike. First off, that air fryer was bomb. It was bomb as hell.
It was
better than half the Arcade1Ups that
them
have been released over the last 3 years. Yeah. So just gonna put that.
Well, the proof's in the pudding. Nostalgia, you've got the subs to prove it, buddy. You're right. I need to rethink, where I'm coming from.
Just got to consider it, man.
My favorite video thumbnail that you did was the ones for the cod liver oil that said no fishy taste. It's still my favorite. No fishy taste.
Well, that's an important factor if you're going to be buying some sort of fish oils, bud.
You're the first YouTuber I've ever known that made a video about cod liver oil. So I
can take one. I think we can all take one major positive thing away from this. He is still out there. He's not still in hiding. He's not given up and he's on a sabbatical and he's on an island somewhere. John D is out there. So I think that's a good thing. That's a positive thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to, Paul, the point that we're getting to, Paul, you're 100% right. But it's hard right now to make a big deal out about this.
We've seen no proof of this.
The results are based on what we've seen from their output, from any company's output over the last 2 years, do not yield positive results from this. But again, the one positive thing is not seeing them at the Licensing Expo would be much worse. The fact that they're still there, that they're still working on stuff, should give people hope that these companies are still trying to bring stuff to market, whether it be Arcade1Up, whether it be Iconic Arcade, whether it be Basic Fun. So that's the net positive of this. At least it's a sign of life from these companies. At least we can look at this and say, hey, ship might still be coming. But I don't think there's any immediate results. Like, I don't see anybody making a video tomorrow about this being like, we're getting, what's a game that people want? House of the Dead. We're getting House of the Dead. Jen was at the licensing conference. Yeah. Like, there's none of that, right? Yeah. There's no reason for immediate excitement other than some slight reassurance that these companies are still looking to make more products.
And I would just sort of give back this sort of perspective. You're assuming something is happening with no proof.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm assuming nothing's happening, which I'm not necessarily assuming that. Well, all I'm saying is we haven't seen anything, so we can't confirm, deny, we can't speculate, we can't really talk about nothing. So both to assume nothing's happening and something is happening is equally plausible in this scenario.
Something is happening.
Perhaps.
No, there's
No.
evidence of that. There is
We don't
evidence. No, we do know.
We don't.
We do. We do. I can defend this. We
Yes.
know something is happening. We just don't know what. Is John D shopping? Is he just browsing? Is he window shopping? Is he negotiating deals? We don't know, but we know something's happening. You know what that thing is? He showed up to that expo.
Yes.
And he made a presence. You wouldn't, as an individual, he wouldn't invest the time or the money it takes to fly out there, get a hotel, do whatever he's going to do, unless there was some sort of intention. So there is something happening.
Sure.
We just don't know what it is and to what extent, and if it will have any fruit at the end of the.
And I think you restated the
end of the
positive
season.
that I just submitted as the one positive. Right? Like, he is out there. He is doing something. So I think that we can assume something is happening. Is it progress on the current product? Is it we're making another prototype like they did with Double Dragon? It's like, if we just keep spitting out prototypes, that doesn't bode well. That doesn't add a lot of confidence to people that have put their hard-earned money down to pre-order. Now, I still plan to pre-order. If in my mind they're making the progress that I think that they should make based on the prototype that I saw, I plan to pre-order, or I plan to order. I mean, whatever the scenario is. But with the total lack of updates of any kind, maybe the activity that you're proposing that is taking place has nothing to do with Street Fighter or Street Fighter Alpha 2.
That's right.
But everything being equal, all things are equally plausible.
And that's the thing. There's a comment right here. Tommy Tallarico was doing a lot, and in the end there was nothing. And that can happen. That's true. But unless you're doing
that's a bit of a different situation, though.
It is.
There's been a long-standing, there's a negative side of our home arcade space where a lot of people are on the outside and they're really negative towards products and people. And they've been trying to push this narrative that home arcade is Tommy Tallarico, because there's this huge network of people that boomed, got tons of subscribers, tons of views from shitting on Tommy Tallarico. And what was the name of his device? I don't know. I never even got into it. What was he trying to sell? The Intellivision?
The Amico.
Amico something?
Yeah, the Amico. So they've been pushing that narrative, trying to say that Arcade1Up is Amico, that now John D is Amico. I don't think there's a direct comparison towards any of this stuff. There's just people trying to fit something into a hole, trying to attack it. Like, it's just stupid, right?
Yeah, I think that my complaint is the lack of updates, right? The lack of progress being shown with the current product that they have for pre-order. That's my biggest sort of complaint, and I think that I'm struggling with. But beyond that, I mean, I don't think that these other comparisons are really fair.
B Kirby with a giant super chat. Thank you so much, brother. No offense to the John D hug nuts out there, but since I've been following all of you, John D seems to be the type of guy who likes to bullshit. He craves attention. I'll believe the John D hype when he produces more than a selfie. Wow, B Kirby.
That's fair.
That is totally fair.
Cutting to the core, yeah.
Wow, yeah. B Kirby has got some spice, man. Like, he's so nice. You don't expect that. Whoa.
Well, maybe that's us checking the temperature of the home arcade audience, right? Maybe we're sort of at that point, proof being in the pudding. It's like we've seen these promises. We've all speculated because in our minds, at least in my mind, the possibilities were kind of wide open. Yeah. And now we've seen that window sort of shrink to where, well, we kind of understand what they're going to be able to get away with.
You know what's funny about this whole situation? I'm pretty sure over the last 4 or 5 years of talking about home arcade products, I have consistently said this about many companies, but at games in particular, I've always said, like, don't say anything until you have everything lined up and it's going to happen. And I've said this about Arcade1Up. I've said this about at games with a lot of their feature releases that constantly got delayed, or their devices that got delayed. iArcade, with a few of the things that they did with some of their software and their licenses. Just like a lot of these companies often put their foot in their mouth, right? And since day one, I've always been the type of guy who's been like, just keep it to yourself until you're ready to announce it. But that's what a lot of these guys are doing now. The market's timid. It's not like it was back in 2020.
I agree.
Like, it's you don't get the same craze. These products aren't flying off the shelves in the way that they were.
it's not just
saturated.
It's not just that. Yeah, saturated is the word, because if you talk to guys that work in the retail space, like there's still warehouses full, like stores still have tons of inventory of this stuff, right? And they're very hesitant to take on any new merchandise. Like, kudos to Basic Fun for going out and doing this and coming on, so aggressive, because like I'm really surprised retailers are willing to pick it up. And maybe the space has been empty enough now for that 2.5 years where we've got nothing. So something like that can happen. But man, like everything I'm hearing, retailers are not, rushing to pick this stuff up. The other thing too, this stuff has got so much more fucking expensive. Like the price of the At Games Legends Pinball 4K here in Canada is shooting up to $3,000. That's going to be the only option.
Insane.
Yeah, so they're doing a model now, which I think it's Jurassic Park, and it's already got the SSF kit installed, and the retail price is going to be $3,000. And like, I love my At Games. I love my At Games Legends 4K. But like, I'm not telling anybody to go out and drop $3,000 on it. Like, that's fucked. That's way too much.
It's a different market, right? Like this, can you really consider that a part of the home arcade market? Do you remember when we had the guys from ICE on our show?
Yeah, and it was too expensive. And you know what the funny thing about that was? We were saying it was too expensive, but if you look back at their prices for what they were selling, it's that price point. It's that $3,000 level. Like, we're there.
$1,800 for their hockey one?
No. It was a little bit more. A little bit more.
It was more than that. I thought it was 1,800. But
either
way,
I think the price. I think to consider something home arcade, like you have to consider real arcades in that, because real arcades, home arcade has existed almost as long as actual arcades have. As soon as an arcade opened up, somebody thought about taking that home, right? So I think that's in the conversation. But the big differentiating factor was with this 3/4 scale home arcade, it was $300, $400. The gap between real machines and these little arcade one-ups was so vast. We accepted all kind of different compromises, and it was a lot of fun. You could collect a bunch of them, and they were lightweight and all that. But with a price tag of $3,000, even $2,000 in the States, where you're pushing north of $2,000 for a 4KP, it's a different conversation now. I mean, it's just you're a totally different level, where if you have to have a supreme love of home arcade to even think about dropping $2,000 on anything.
Yeah. So really quickly, guys, it's a little bit off topic, but I do want to talk about this. Paul is always, we might come back at you, Paul, a little bit, but you add a lot to the conversation. So I want to say thank you for that. Sticks his foot in his mouth, but he's also delivered a lot of title and products in the end. Just look at what or it followed or didn't when he left Arcade1Up. You make a good point there, because John did secure licenses. Like, he liked to challenge himself for certain things. But at the same time, you can't 100% say that what happened at Arcade1Up after John D left is a direct result of John D leaving, so much as you're not taking variables into account. Like, John D was there for the collapse too. John D was part of that collapse. He was there for Blitz. He was there for everything that caused them a lot of problems that resulted in them being fucked for the next 2.5 years. And like, I'm not, directly shitting on John, but you have to take that in consideration. It's not like John D left and they were like, oops, we don't know what to do. John D left, and then by the time they made those changes, when they got rid of Scott and John left, they were already fucked. They had to dig themselves out of a hole. So a lot of what we're seeing from Arcade1Up and their lack of productivity comes from the fact that there was already shit happening. They were already, retailers had already been burned so much by the overstocked retail stuff not being able to sell. So like, I know Arcade1Up had a very aggressive plan. I mean, it got leaked, like everything they were going to do, Alien versus Predator, all this other stuff. And the retailers were like, we're good. We want less. So, I mean, it's not fair to say that, oh man, it's completely ruined because John left. I'm sure that contributes to it, and John has abilities to go get licenses, but that company was fucked when he was still there, and fucked when Scott was still there. Let's be honest here.
And to be fair, you guys are talking about this as though when John left, he took all the license agreements that he had previously made.
It doesn't work that way.
That didn't happen. Yeah. Arcade1Up had existing agreements with many companies, and probably a ton more that we never actually saw product of, that they secured licenses previously to. So the reality is I don't think the John leaving is the reason why they stopped producing and putting out new product. I think it's much more in line with what you said, Mike, that there was some business changes and they had some cash flow issues and they had to recoup some investment and they needed to spend their money wisely because, you can only burn a hole in your pocket for so long before it becomes a big issue.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that was directly John D's fault either. We know there's other people at the company. Their marketing department is probably one of the worst in history, even with the changes. Like, these people will go out of their way to fuck themselves over. So it's not, directly related to Scott and John. The company as a whole had this fucking absolute dynamo idea that blew up, and then they somehow managed to piss it all away.
If they had only come out with a really good banger game like NFL Blitz or something, they would have just gone to the
that would have solved all of their problems. Absolutely,
would have.
I think that the point can be made, and to Paul's passion and to Paul's credit, you could say something about the vision that was lost. Maybe not license agreements, and maybe there were some problems. Obviously, maybe that vision went crazy with Blitz, and it was like, whoa, what are you thinking? But when you could definitely say that when John D left, some of the vision for the company or the products that they maybe should be making or focusing on left with him, Licensings, no, of course, that stayed with the company. Bad decisions that John may have made or may have contributed to, obviously the ramifications of that stayed with the company. But I think that his vision absolutely left with him. And you see what's kind of happening with everything. They're just sort of, well, let's look at the numbers, let's just read the tea leaves, what's sold, let's just make more of that. There's a lack of decision making and vision with Arcade1Up. So you can definitely credit John with at least that much, and I think that that's fair. And John's passion, all that stuff, I say it a lot. Adults can have conversations, and both things can be true at the same time. You can respect what was done in the past. You can respect the passion, vision, all that stuff. But you can also be critical of maybe what's going on currently, and I don't know, it's crazy, but think about it for just 1 second. Maybe the thing that I'm criticizing is the only thing I'm criticizing. Maybe there's no bigger meaning. Maybe there's no unsaid thing. Maybe I'm not cutting to the core of every human being's sole purpose in life. Maybe I'm just saying, hey, you know what? Maybe you should show us a little bit more of this thing that you've had on pre-order or available for pre-order since January.
That's fair. That's a fair point. There was a comment a little bit higher up, Mike Meatball Saucy. He made a comment about the license agreements require significant monthly return payments for unit sales. No cash to make those payments. That is sometimes true. License agreements come in many different forms. You've got minimum guarantees, you've got revenue share, you've got upfront payments where you just pay for the license up front. We don't actually know what Arcade1Up did. And I have a suspicion that they had paid for many licenses up front. I think that was part of the appeal to get exclusivity or to get near exclusivity on a lot of licenses, but I don't actually know how that was structured.
So from what I know, the way a lot of Arcade1Up's licenses worked were there was a guaranteed number of units they would produce and sell to retailers per year. That's how their license agreement works. So a couple companies came back and fought with Arcade1Up because they weren't very happy. So like every year they're obligated to make a midway cab and sell X amount of units. That's their licensing agreement. I don't know how that works, but I got a feeling it's a pay after the fact, not so much up front, but it could be a combination of both.
Right.
I did want to go back to JJ's comment. We all know John D was fired. He didn't quit, and there's a valid reason for that. I do want to caution people about saying stuff like that because, like, there's people out there on YouTube that just say things out of their ass, and you also got to question sometimes what people's motivations are. It's funny because they're always the fucking ones accusing other people of having like adverse motivations for things, but like it's written clearly. Like, I hate this fucking person, so he was fired. No one knows John D was fired. Like, we speculate, like Console Kids got him fired. That's what I like to tell people because Console Kids is a bit of a shit. But like, no one actually knows. It was never officially made known. Did he probably get fired? Yeah, probably. But like, you can't say we all know because some asshole who doesn't like him was like, he definitely got fired. Fuck him.
Are you talking about P-dubs again?
Yeah.
Again, always.
Again, dude, you got to give him a break. He's not even here to defend himself.
He's on vacation, for God's sakes.
Yeah. I shared Arcade1Up's license with Atari in a stream. They license all kinds of crazy-ish. They never really had a prayer of making. That sounds about right. Thank you very much, Jay.
A license agreement isn't really a license agreement unless you break the license agreement, though, right? Like,
JJ, it was announced that he was fired. I've covered Arcade1Up for a long time. I don't remember that. Robert?
I couldn't tell you. I don't
remember that
officially announced. No, it was a very political parting of ways.
Yeah,
we've moved in another direction type jargon.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like, was he fired? Probably, but I don't remember.
Yeah, sure.
We're pretty sure,
but it wasn't confirmed.
Or was it a layoff with a nice severance package?
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Who knows? We don't even know the terms of his employment. It could have been. He could have been an independent contractor for all we know. We have no idea.
He might not have even worked there. We don't know.
We have no idea. He may not even be alive.
Oh, that's true.
Not even a real person.
He may be AI. James hates everything. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man.
This is the first AI. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to spend the rest of the show talking about this. We've got to
figure. We've done a pretty good job of making.
Here's the deal, though. Like, I'm fine with being wrong. Like, if there is an official statement, someone wants to send it in, I'll bring it up on stream. I don't give a shit.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but I don't remember that. Now, really quickly, I do want to move on and just show this. I am a little irritated. I know this was in the announcement.
Oh dear God!
I cannot pre-order this now. And here's the thing: like, I'm fine with that. I'm just not going to fucking get it. But here's the thing that's irritating to me. We never got the information really that a lot of us were looking for before we were going to place our pre-order. Now we don't know. Like they said, there's a possibility that prices may go up. I don't know what's going to happen with the free shipping to Canada, but obviously if, this stuff, gets changed, like if the price goes up a couple $100 and shipping goes out the window, I'm not going to buy this. But I would have bought this. I would have pre-ordered this from you guys if you had just given us a little bit more information and like stuff you said you were going to provide. I would have provided the iconic arcade Street Fighter 2 World Warrior XXL.
No. What would you have pre-ordered?
What do you mean?
What were you gonna buy? Like you give them your money. What were you gonna get in return?
Well, I don't know because they didn't.
That's the problem, right? Exactly. That's why I told my viewers, hey, listen, what I saw was very encouraging. Let's wait. Let's see what they say. We've seen no UI. We've seen no finished underpinning. Like everything underneath was very much, kind of just thrown together and it functioned. But, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we weren't even playing Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the Street Fighter Alpha 2 cabinet. So that wasn't even there yet. There was too many questions to be answered, which is why it's a real kick in the nuts to finally come out and say something and then immediately stop all pre-orders. Yeah. And so like, okay, fine. Oh, you do what you want to do, right? But it's difficult to combat the naysayers when you take these actions. It's like, now all the people's money that you have, we have no confirmation of the thing that they're ordering. We haven't finalized the art on Street Fighter 2. We don't know where the seam is going to be with the two-piece side panel. We don't know what the underpinning is going to be. We don't really know anything. I mean, other than the, concept, the prototype was pretty cool.
Guys.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The product is right there in front of you. We're literally showing it on screen.
It's right there. Fox.
Guys, it's right
there. Hell? Can't you see it?
And to put on top of that, you guys are saying, well, if we had known, we would have. They didn't need you to order. They're sold out. It says so right there.
No.
That's a good point.
No.
You're dumb.
No, it says he's right, Mike. It says sold out. Clearly, they've sold. They've sold all of them.
They don't need your money, Mike. They've
right
sold
there.
out. Done.
Yeah.
You should have been faster.
Yeah.
Early bird gets the worm, buddy.
I blame myself.
You're fucking with me. Sold out is not sold out in this term. They've closed pre-orders. They intentionally did it. It's not sold out.
Well, and the pathway is still weird, right? We talked about this a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, like it's still
pre-order link, and it's like
you still
got to
can't
go to
pre-order
VMI
directly
and...
off. So
Sure.
I mean, like I don't know what happened here, but if I'm Iconic Arcade, and I'm not talking about John Dino, I'm talking about Iconic Arcade,
right?
Whatever's going on with It's a couple things. One, if like, Arcade1Up did have some legal action or something like that, they're causing problems. You got to think that also cost Iconic Arcade a bunch of money in potential sales, cancellations, and stuff like that. So I would consider, if there is legal action, I would consider countersuing. I would also look at, people making wild speculation videos and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Also, I would possibly look at suing them.
Except for the 19K Fox YouTube channel.
No, especially him. But
not that.
Like
well,
the main target, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll talk after. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
But listen, it is a cool design. Like, it's a cool cabinet shape. It's a cool size. Like, there's a lot to love there. But with the big asterisk is this is a prototype. We don't. What are we going to really get? We don't know. And it's a damn shame.
See,
we're gonna get what's on screen right now.
Oh, I forgot. You're right. Well, I can't buy that. It's sold out.
Nostalgia, that's a render. And
that's real.
No, it's real, buddy.
Here's the thing. That's a render.
Took a photo of that in my house. What are you talking about?
Well,
I have one right there.
Listen, Nostalgia, you can't even buy that because it's clearly sold out.
Because they did so good on their marketing and they showed exactly what they needed.
Knocked it out of the parks. What they did.
Done.
Home run.
Game over.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
Mike, you snooze, you lose.
I will tell you this. I mentioned this before, and I really 100% feel this way. They also made the assumption that they could just do the Arcade1Up thing, because this is what Arcade1Up did. Arcade1Up said, here's a render. This is the cab we're releasing. But we're all so familiar at that point when they were doing this. We knew what we were buying. We didn't need to see the UI. We didn't need to see this. So there's a misunderstanding that it's a brand new fucking product from a brand new fucking company. There's a little bit more information needed before we'd agree to plunk down that kind of cash. And you got to remember, you either had to pay 100% upfront or 50% upfront. So it's not like this is a slight pre-order where you're charged when.
Yeah. We need to bring up Paul's quote, our comment, since he's just flat out attacking me now at this point, because Paul gets very emotional when you have a view that's not his. So let me just go ahead and address this. The irony of 19K Fox feeling Iconic owes him more information when he hasn't pre-ordered anything and probably never will, even if they did. So there's a lot of assumptions being made here. First off, Iconic Arcade owes everyone an explanation if they want to take $700 from them. Now, if you just want to donate $700, God bless you, Paul, that's great. I think you should absolutely do whatever you want to do with your money. But for those of us that maybe want a little more information, is things like, what are we actually going to purchase? What will be included in that purchase? These are some questions that some people find important when they spend $700. Now, to your comment of, and probably never will, I've said this, listen, look behind me. I have no problem spending money if it's something that looks good, if it's something that lives up to the hype. And I've actually put my hands on the prototype, and I think it's something that could be worth that $700 price tag. So please, if you can, kind of keep it together a little bit there, Paul. Don't put words in my mouth. Well, and I've already said that if they can bring us more information, I would be more than happy to pre-order one, if not two.
You don't want to mess with Fox. He's the kind of person that will confront you at conventions. I've seen him do it.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I think what Fox is saying for the most part is true, but like with what Paul's saying, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. There are people who have already spent the money. So if you want your argument to stand up, and then maybe, sure, they don't know the public information.
Sure,
but what would make sense is if they sent out an internal email to all the customers who have pre-ordered, giving them a status update, just kind of like you would see on a Kickstarter or any other pre-order process. Like, there's been delays. Let's get more information. Let's see a proper product. Let's make sure that this product is actually moving in the correct direction for the people who've actually made the purchase. I think that would be an appropriate thing for the customer or for the company.
I think that's fair, and follow the example of Wonderland Pinball, right? They did several. They showed a lot. They showed whatever they had. Sometimes to their detriment, but they showed you everything that they had as they were progressing along with the process. And I think that if I have to choose between that way or the Iconic way, I think I'd probably rather choose that way, to at least get an idea of not just what you're getting for your money, but also the process that they're going through to bring this to the market.
It just sucks. I will say, unfortunately, this is a product I was really excited about. I was super happy for, Iconic Arcade to get this off the ground, and I really wanted to pre-order it. But just delays, not finding out about the art, which is something we were supposed to know about. You
Yeah.
brought up some really good points, Fox, after playing the prototype, talking about the UI, the fact that this was also going to have that Pi built in. Like, how is that going to work? Was this going to be like you could bring ROMs on, but it would just be text? How would the UI work for the games you were bringing on? Could you just bring your own Pi builds? To me, there were so many unanswered questions. I wasn't ready to plunk down any money. And then they close pre-orders. So I hope pre-orders reopen. I hope the price is, as close to that as possible. And I still hope they have free shipping. And I would still be game. But otherwise, like, I'm good. I'm not getting this.
I still would like to get it. I don't have a fighting cab in my collection. I'm kind of holding out.
See,
hope for
I
this
got
thing.
that. I got that Arcade1Up Street Fighter Deluxe. And while it's
Yeah.
smaller, it's a really good cab. So it's a struggle, right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. That was a really good cabinet. Probably one of my, I don't know, it might even be my favorite arcade one. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, I would put it.
takes the
I would put
title?
it in like the top 6,
It's
100%.
really just a really good, really comfortable
good.
cabinet for sure.
And here's the $1 million question everybody's been waiting for. Nostalgia, were you going to buy this?
Yeah, I already did. They showed me
fuck outta here.
everything. They showed me everything I needed to see
Finally,
on the first announcement. They showed me
heard
beautiful
it here
photos,
first.
renders.
When was the last time you bought a home arcade? Realistically,
It's been a while.
yeah, it has 3 years.
It's been a while. See, I'm like a big deal now, so I don't have to buy stuff.
that's
Companies
a good
just give
point.
it
He
to
is
me.
a big deal.
So
It's verified.
like, sorry,
Kind
Mike,
of a big deal.
I know you're
here
not
on
quite.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Just to be clear, like I get it, you're
people
here,
know him.
but Mike, I'm
Yeah.
here. You're here.
Oh, I'm
No, that's
I'm
fair.
here.
I'm so here.
One
Like,
day.
it's not
No.
even funny.
One day.
All right, that's enough about that. Like, honestly, it's funny when Neil Hyper mentioned this on Facebook. I was like, what do you want me to do with this? He's at a licensing expo. Like, there's not, somehow we talked about this for almost an hour. Like, what the fuck, right?
Because we have problems, Mike. We have issues.
Yeah. Hey, Hollywood Polo, it's good to see you, buddy. It's been a
There he
long
is.
time. You got a wrench. I didn't know that. Welcome to the Wrench Club. All right, so moving on, another thing I want to talk about, not home arcade related, so that we're going to go a little bit different here. Fox, you're not much of a console guy, but when you are a console guy, you bleed blue with PlayStation. You're a big PlayStation guy. Everything's PlayStation. But a huge piece of news kind of got out there this week that Xbox is currently beta testing Steam to run through their platforms and through their stores. Now, PlayStation fans are up in arms about it for a couple of reasons, but I want to refer to Nostalgia first on this because he'll know more about it. But Nostalgia, what do you think this means for home consoles going forward? The ability to just open up your Xbox and then access your Steam library directly from that. Does that change the whole scope of what we're doing here with home consoles?
No, I don't think it changes much. I think it changes a lot for Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't think that it changes much for Sony or Nintendo. Nintendo locks their shit down like nobody else. You're not going to ever be able to play a Nintendo product on anything outside of Nintendo without either pirating or emulating. Sony, I think they're pretty secure in their position as the leader of the console wars, as it pertains to like the higher demanding consoles. And Xbox, this to me is Xbox just doing what they need to do to survive, because they very clearly lost the console wars in terms of units sold. They've got a bunch of great licenses, but people can access those games through their PC portal. Their what is it called? The PC Arena.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but the PC Arena system that they have, so people could play those games through their PCs, and they don't even need a console. This is a way that they can deliver value and continue to stay in the console space, because if they've got access to the Steam library on top of the Xbox library, it's just a bonus to have. Now, I didn't read the presser. Are they talking about streaming, like Steam Link to your Xbox streaming, or is this like downloading Steam games to the hard drive and running it through the actual console? So if it's native play, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's native play.
But if that's the case, like then in my end, I don't think that's a driving force for selling consoles, because like why not just buy a gaming PC then, right? Like play
Yeah,
Steam on your
that's such
PC
a
and play Xbox on your PC.
this is where me and you separate, because you always say things like this, like when Killer Instinct Gold or Killer Instinct Pro was coming out for Arcade1Up, you wanted to have that bellhead Keo Deacon on the show, and you wanted to be like, oh, why don't you just buy a Rec Room Masters and an Xbox? It's not the same fucking thing. It's
What are
apples
you
to
talking
oranges.
about? You're telling me that playing a Steam game on your Xbox is different than playing a Steam game on your PC? Are you fucking new? What are you talking about? They're
Am I
PC
fucking
games,
new?
dude.
There's a
They're
difference.
PC games.
Yes, they're PC
I hate it
games.
when mom and dad fight.
But listen very carefully.
I'm listening,
There's a
baby.
difference. There's a difference between
Make
sitting
eye
at a
contact
desk.
to me when you talk to me.
There's a difference from sitting at your desk at a computer to sitting on your couch and having access. Currently, right now, there is no Steam home console. There was that Steam Link console there for a while or whatever it was. You can plug your Steam Deck into the dock and play on your TV, which somehow has been hugely successful, even though the performance sucks, but people still love doing it. Having Steam on a console that's easy to use, not PC related, not hooking a PC up to your fucking TV in your living room and being able to play your Steam games is a really big deal. If you can't see that, it's the same conversation back as, yeah, I don't know why anybody would buy that Killer Instinct Pro. You could just buy a Micro Center cab and an Xbox.
Man,
I
I never
think
said
that-
I
I
didn't.
think-
Go ahead, Fox. I'll let
Oh,
you.
I'm just gonna if the PlayStation guy can just get a word in edgewise, guys. Love you both. Isn't this like the self-destruct button, the parachute that Xbox always had in its back pocket since day one?
Maybe.
It's basically running on Windows-ish. It's basically a PC. This is a pre-configured PC that you can just buy and to your point, Mike, just plug into your
that's
TV.
fair.
Like it's like it's sort of been pointing in this direction. When exclusivity runs out, it can become a pre-configured PC that you can just go buy and plug in and away you go, and it becomes this Steam machine. It can kind of be whatever it wants to be. You don't have to worry about PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo architecture to program around. It's a freaking PC, baby. So this is the one thing that I was always afraid of when it came to Xbox, is it could potentially be the one thing that actually boosts it when you think they're dead, right? Just when you think Xbox is done, they do something like this. This could be bigger than maybe we're giving it credit for.
There's a number of things that I want to talk about. Mike, first, I need to be expressly clear. You know this better than anyone. I don't have a gaming PC. I have my PC that I do my video editing on, but I don't actually have a gaming PC.
Yeah.
I have every goddamn console that's ever been released, including both the Xbox S and the Xbox X. Like, I buy the consoles. I'm a console guy day in and day out. I love consoles.
Me too.
My point was that I don't think maybe it's like going to boost some sales. I get that, because it is. Xbox is just a gaming PC designed.
So it's the PlayStation
for
5 at
video
this
games.
point, guys.
Right?
Yeah.
And the biggest, I think the biggest advantage of Xbox doing this is not because you get access to the PC games. It's that you're going to get access to a lot of those PlayStation games that are now on PC. Right?
Yes, that's why the PlayStation fans are upset.
Yes,
That's the big deal. So that's where
back door.
I think
Yep,
that's right. So you get access to it. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know if I'd want to play Spider-Man on the Xbox. It'd be cool to, but I think for me, when I think of playing Spider-Man, I want to play it on my PS5. But if you don't have a PS5, that's awesome. Now you get to experience playing that game on a home console. So that's great. But
dude, we are so far across the I don't know what you would call it, the equator with this stuff. Like, people are playing Forza right now on PlayStation 5, right? Like,
it
wild.
runs well.
It's wild.
We have crossed over. Like, we are in the other realm. Like, everything is crazy. Up is down, left is right.
So does the PlayStation 5 just become the Sony Vaio in this computer sort of this pre-configured PC situation we're kind of living in? It's just going to be a sort of a brand thing, all running the same software.
No, I don't think we'll ever get there. I don't think you're ever going to see just like a Sony product you running a generic UI that companies are licensing in and out. I think the reality is that Sony looks at Microsoft as competition, and they're going to do something different. And I don't think there's going to be any major collaboration outside of what we're seeing with typically exclusive Sony titles making their way to PC, and then Xbox finding a way to make those PC exclusive
Do you
titles.
find that Sony's going to have a harder time differentiating itself from PC gaming now, sort of including Xbox? Because Nintendo's doing its own thing. They're cool. They're doing their own thing. They're clearly different. Is Sony going to be in this position now where they're trying to struggle to find their own identity?
No, if I can just, my honest opinion is, if let's say we didn't have the Xbox Series X or S out, that was never a product that was released, and we didn't have the PS5, and the launch plan for the Xbox Series SX had Steam built into it, I still think PlayStation takes it, and I think they take it by a large margin. I think brand loyalty is a big deal in the console market. I think the exclusivity on some of those titles, the launch titles, were a lot better on the PlayStation 5 than they were on the Xbox. I also think that when people are going out to a store, it's like a vehicle. Like, if you're going to go out, you might be partial to Chevy or you might be partial to Ford.
Okay,
because you like one or the other pickup trucks from one
you
of
like,
the companies.
you like the feel of the controller, you like the layout of the buttons.
That's right.
Sure.
So that's it. So, and there's going to be other things like the PlayStation 5 controller. The rumble feedback is freaking phenomenal. It's better than any controller I've ever used. It's incredible. So, like, there are going to be things that differentiate the two, and I don't ever see a time, at least not in the next maybe 20 years, that we're going to see home consoles being like a generic thing. You're just buying your brand and then it's all the same content within it.
It's an interesting conversation. We've talked about, I think we've all kind of seen this. There was a time in space where computers were so much, they served a completely different purpose. And then gaming consoles served a completely different purpose. And everything's sort of blending together. I think it is a matter of time before a box, whatever it may be, will sort of do everything. I don't know.
I think that's. Can I just bring up a comparison, Mike, really quickly?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So the idea, I guess the reason why I feel the way that I do is because I look at it like Mac versus PC.
Yes.
I don't ever see a time where a Mac product is going to be launching with Windows on it. And I don't see a Windows product, a PC product ever launching with an iOS product on it, or iOS software on it.
Sure.
Well, technically,
you can run both on.
Technically,
I know you can do virtual machines, guys. We're not talking about
technically.
You're talking about launching with the software.
I'm talking about you're not going to see
let's go back
the new
to history.
MacBook Pro with Windows 11 on it. That's not going to happen being sold by Apple.
So technically, Microsoft computers originally were sold with, Apple technology on it. It's called Windows. Microsoft stole Windows.
Mike, I'm talking about the market today.
How dare you take the name of Bill Gates in vain?
Anyways, what really interests me about this is Xbox has tried so hard to get Game Pass up and going, a subscription service, and both Xbox and PlayStation have their own store models. So I understand it. Like, it seemed like Xbox were moving away from the console space, trying to sell hardware, and moving more into the developer space, like putting their stuff on PlayStation and trying to beef up Game Pass, because Game Pass is ridiculous right now. Like, there's been so many good first day release games, Doom, Expedition 33, like, it's wild. Next month we're getting I can't remember the name of it. It's that new Atlas game, Metamorphosio or whatever it is. So that's coming too. Oh my God. James hates everything. Oh my God. MS didn't steal Windows from Apple. Both stole it from Xerox, and Apple was too slow.
Okay, Xerox had the idea of the interface. Yeah, they had the graphical interface, the generic idea. Steve Jobs was not a genius as far as, he didn't know how to make things necessarily happen technologically, if that's even a word, but he had the vision for the graphical interface, the thing that people would gravitate towards.
So anyways, I did want to get back to my point. So with Xbox, everything they were doing, I thought they were going in one direction, but it's almost like a very like, I fucking love it as a console gamer. I'm like, yes, man. Like, I hate connecting my Steam Deck because I have a Samsung TV and it doesn't connect right.
Yes.
And I hate the output performance from the Steam Deck on a modern TV. I just never dock it for that reason. So there it is. Metaphor Refantasio. Thank you very much, Mike of all trades. Definitely appreciate that, buddy.
Mike, he could have told us that if he was on our live stream with us, just so you know.
Yeah,
he could have said it
absolutely
out loud.
Yeah, he could have actually said it.
Anyways, going back to this, so they're doing all this stuff, but then they do the Steam thing, which becomes its own competitor to their own Xbox store. Like it's basically like your Pornhub, but you also advertise like Tube Galore on the Pornhub site, and you're like, you can go to either. Like, it's counterproductive. You're basically
Absolutely. I think you're right. But isn't it just a matter of, isn't it at this point just a decision that has to be made?
guess.
Where somebody just wakes up, a good management, whatever, and they say, hey, why don't we just put this shit together? And
Ultimately, they're hoping that people will buy both, right?
Yeah.
They'll subscribe to both services.
I don't know. I don't know.
It like I'm excited about it, but it seems weird from a business standpoint. It seems good from a business standpoint that maybe they'll sell more consoles, but you sell your consoles to sell software. Your consoles are usually sold at a loss.
It's the whole beta VHS battle over and over again.
So strange, right?
Right.
So, anyways, I don't want to dwell on that too much. I just wanted to bring that up. That's an interesting topic.
Come on, man. We spent an hour on John D.
We
can't
can give
talk-
this
if you want to
2
keep
hours
going,
at least.
I was going to move into my next topic. But,
all I was going to say is, I mean, you made the comment of like not wanting to connect your gaming PC to your living room TV or whatever. And I may be in the minority here, but I actually do have a gaming PC connected to our living room TV.
You literally just said you don't have a gaming PC.
It's not mine. It's my daughter's.
Yeah.
So my daughter uses it for like Minecraft and whatever. But like my point is, like if I wanted to play games on my living room TV with an Xbox controller that I just connect through Bluetooth to the PC, I could do that. So, and I'm sure there are other people that use PCs as their like home entertainment center, right? Like you've got Cody or you've got Netflix or any of those other apps, and you just run them on your PC. So this is obviously super targeted towards people who want to have the console connected to a TV and a dedicated console for gaming. That's clearly what it's for. And there's nothing wrong. There can't be any negative repercussions for Xbox going this route. Even if you think there's potential that people will switch over to buying Steam games instead of the Game Pass, I don't think so. I think that Xbox has a plan for this. So
Is it more akin to iPhone versus Android, where some people just want everything pre-configured and a slick interface and ease of use, and then some people want ultimate customizability. That's probably not a word either. But to be able to manipulate it and make it custom to what they're doing. So that maybe just
100%. Some people are right and some people are wrong. And if you buy an Apple product, you're wrong.
You're right.
If you buy an Android product, you're right.
What? We didn't talk about that before.
We didn't have to. We'll talk
and Nostalgia's completely backwards on everything. He's an anti-vaxxer. Like he's the only Canadian that supports Trump. Like there's lots of stuff going on here. Anyways, all kidding aside, a lot of people made comments that I thought were on spot with what I'm saying. For you, Nostalgia, like it's a normal thing. Like you do have a PC connected to your TV, but most people wouldn't even consider that. That's, unfathomable. So being the ability to play Steam through a console is a great win for them. Like realistically, I think we're going to get it to a point. Like I see it, I bought a new TV in the last little while. I don't even need to hook a console up. The TV's like, you want to play some games? Just go into this app here right on the TV. Let's play some games. Like we're going to get to that point where there's not going to be a console. Your TV's just going to play the fucking game through streaming or whatever it is. So
or VR.
All this is going to,
that's right.
Yeah. There'll be no display. It's just your VR.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right, guys. So moving on now to the final topic tonight. There is one other thing I wanted to mention. Nintendo Switch. Less than a fortnight now for the Switch 2 coming out. Everybody excited, not excited? Nostalgia, you've got about 17 coming that you're going to try to resell, I'm guessing.
He's going to give me one for free. What a great guy.
I've got 13 actually, but I don't actually have that many. I've got two. I've got two on pre-order. One with Mario Kart, one without. But honestly, man, I have been sitting for the last several days. Every time I see anything about the Switch 2, contemplating if I'm just going to cancel my pre-orders.
Really?
Well, I did.
I've bought every Nintendo console on launch since I was like 15 years old. When I was able to go out and buy it myself, I'm feeling very conflicted by this. Not only the Nintendo consoles, every Xbox, every PlayStation console, anything that's been released since I was 15 years old, which was like 3 years ago. all of that,
Yeah.
every single one, I've stood in line outside of Walmart's or GameStops, pre-ordered everything. And this one is one where I'm like, I waited literally, I spent an entire day in queues on Walmart, GameStop, Best Buy, Amazon, everywhere, trying to get one. I got two. And now I'm like, do I even freaking want this thing? Like, is it really worth it for me to just throw whatever it's going to cost us, almost $800 for a Nintendo Switch 2 with like one game that I'm going to want to play and without any real release dates on anything else that I want to play? And I'm struggling with it, Mike. I don't know how I feel. This is really it's a challenge.
So you're poor now. You're a poor. That's what you're saying?
It's not a poor thing, man. It's just like
I think he's a poor nostalgia.
I am nostalgia.
I
nostalgia.
think he's a poor.
I'll take it.
Poor
I'll take
fox.
it. I'll take it. Are you one of the poors? No, maybe you're
Dirty
just
poor.
waking. Maybe you're just waking up and then realize, because I took advantage of the late night, early morning Walmart restock, and I had one in my cart, pre-ordered it, had it for a couple days, and I canceled it too. I just to me, I don't. Maybe we're just getting old, guys. I don't know, but I feel like it's just like it's compounding issues and problems. So the games are a little more expensive. That's fine, but they're not even on the cartridge. Well, what the hell's the point of having? And I know this has gone back and forth. Go ahead.
Fox, I understand with your political, your
No,
political
this is not
favorings and stuff.
political.
No.
No, Mike, Nintendo did come out recently with their license changes. Like the ones that just came out a week ago, they've confirmed that you're effectively leasing the games even with physical
That's
hardware.
all you're doing.
Well, you're still doing that with most PlayStation 5 and games and stuff like that. None of this is new.
I know, but I can grab my Nintendo Switch right now and throw any cartridge into it and run it.
Yeah.
So like none of the Switch 2 games, like they're all leasing. So at some
it's-
point, if the server goes down,
all
you just can't play the
downloaded.
game anymore.
It's the iconic
But once you
arcade.
download it, can you still play it?
Yeah, once it's downloaded to your console,
You don't have to
can
constantly
continue
connect to the server, right?
Well,
No,
but
no, you
we
don't have to
don't.
do
We
that.
don't. but
Well,
we
it's
don't-
the
we don't
same
necessarily
as
know.
every game for PlayStation 5 and Xbox right now.
The challenge here is that like the game situation is like another. The price on the game sucks, but like whatever. I'm not offended by the pricing. I was anticipating prices to go up anyways.
Don't lie to us, you're poor.
It's okay, Mike. But
He's the poor.
like you know all the big news about the license agreements that they've changed. Like on a Switch 2, if Nintendo for any reason determines that you've modified your console,
They will shut you down.
They'll
can brick your console.
brick your console, not just shut and block your console. They can brick your
Oh,
console.
Yes.
I see what this is. I don't think this is a problem so much for Fox. It's a problem for you, you dirty pirate. Because you're looking to do a lot.
Mike,
here's
hold
it's
on.
the interpretation of what they
define
deem to be
modification.
What is what's that definition? What is it today? What is it tomorrow? What is it in 8 years when I've had this console for a while? If they just decide for some reason that if you bought a third-party game,
really quickly before we go any further, I do want to talk about you guys making complaints about making smart decisions. Maybe you're older. Like MG brought up the fact that you did pay money for that hat, Nostalgia. So I don't know where you get off.
This was a wedding party gift.
We're not saying.
Oh wait, well hold on,
make
Fox.
great
You're not
decisions
getting
all
out
the
of this either.
No,
Didn't
dear
you late night while drinking spend like $600 on a Final Vendetta Neo Geo card?
Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. It was 500, and also the key phrase in what you just said was drinking. So I can't be held.
Mike,
be held responsible for that.
Let me jump in on the issue with the way that they've updated their license agreement.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, because I'm not up on this. I didn't.
Yeah. So
this is dangerous. This is scary.
Let me talk about something that's a real world thing that goes on. So Apple, before they went full screen, they used to have a home button.
Yeah.
A physical home button, and that physical home button. And this was at a time I was doing electronic repair and cell phone repairs. So, if you replaced the home button with a non-OEM home button, it wouldn't actually work. It would lose. It would lose some of the functionality. You could still use it, but like 50% of all the features that were built into that home button, they wouldn't work.
You had
even
to buy
if that
Apple replacement parts.
100%. So, and even if that third party was a direct clone of the Apple product, it did not work based off the serial numbers in the database. It needed to match serial numbers when it was logging. So let's say, Mike, there's a Nintendo Switch 2 stick drift issue. And instead of you wanting it to send it to Nintendo, because it's out of warranty now, it's been a year and a half, it's out of warranty, and having to pay them $130 or whatever it is, plus the shipping to send it to them, have them repair it and send it back. You wanted to go on Amazon and spend $13 on an analog stick, take apart your own device that you paid for, put it in there, seal it back up, put your Switch 2 back together and play it. And for whatever reason, there is some sort of miscommunication, some disconnect between that new analog stick you installed and their server. And Nintendo says, whoa, 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 he's modified his hardware. Boom, brick, you're done. Yeah. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm not saying that.
But it's a possibility.
Happen.
Yeah,
it's a possibility. But you could even go with another Apple example, which, to your point, right? Licensing the Lightning connector technology, which they only got rid of because the EU said no, we're going to have a standard. It's going to be USB Type-C. But to your point, it artificially inflates all the costs of all the third-party options. So let's say you have a stick drift with a standard Joy-Con, and you say, hey, I want to buy a third-party option. It's going to be like $5 cheaper instead of $20 cheaper because of all the. It's got to be certified from Nintendo, or it'll brick your system.
Or maybe they'll block the market altogether and you won't be able to get those options.
I think they'll still want to license their technology, which is really just code. And they'll say, sure, whoever, random company number 3, we'll license it to you and you'll be able to sell your shitty Joy-Cons for about $5 cheaper.
So, really quickly, guys, Paul Mindeman, still somewhat upset about our conversation earlier, I guess. I don't have enough information about the Switch 2 to pre-order.
I'm so sorry.
We've only seen renders, guys.
You want to have a rational conversation, don't include Paul.
Sorry for causing, B. Kirby, you did not need to send this super chat. Sorry for causing a little bit of a frenzy tonight. I'll make it up to you guys, and sorry for hurting all the JD groupies out there. You fellas are an awesome group of guys. B. Kirby, this is an open space, man. Feel comfortable to say what you want. You have nothing to worry about. And I got your back, brother. I got your back. Thank you very much.
And if you have something, if you have some garbage you want to sell for $700, contact Paul. He'll buy it for you.
Meatball Saucy, look at this. Saucy. Saucy's already saucy. We love you, B. Kirby. Never apologize for your thoughts. You, sir, are awesome. Meatball Saucy, you're fucking awesome too, dude. Thank you very much.
Pull up MG's comment here. It's this third one now from the bottom.
Third one from the bottom?
Fourth one now? Yeah. So he's saying, like, tinfoil hat. Listen, I don't actually think that Nintendo's going to go and brick my console. I'm not actually concerned about that. What I was concerned about is that, like, this is something that no company has ever done before. That's not in the terms of service for Sony's products. It's not in the terms of service for any Xbox product. It's never been in the terms of service for any previous Nintendo product. I'm obviously a big modifier. I love modifying consoles. I love modifying games. I love doing all that stuff. I love the gray area. I like to swim deep in the gray waters. But my point about this is that it's not in good taste. It doesn't look good. And then to stack on top of it, on top of this whole, we can brick your console if we want to, as part of those new terms of service, you can't even sue them. Like, you're not even allowed to sue them in the event that they really drop the ball. Like, if they do something that screws over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of their users, nobody can sue them. Because in the terms of service, you're agreeing that you're not able to sue them. You would have to go to arbitration, and it would be on their terms. So there's like a lot of weird things in that. It's just super anti-consumer.
All I know is when I first got my Nintendo Entertainment System, and then I got Mega Man 2 for the very first Christmas, and I loved it. None of these things were a problem. There was no agreement. I wouldn't sue Nintendo. There was none of this bricking my NES. Life was good. It's sad that we're at this state. Now, I did want to bring up this comment from JT Brunnick. Switch 2 game carts are just keys. Well, every game you get nowadays is just a key, and, like, sometimes there's a download disc, but, like, you physically need the game to prove that it's on, even though you download it to your console. Everything's just a key. But I think this is inaccurate, because I know for 100%, and you guys can tell me if this is different, something's changed, but I know CD Projekt Red went out of their way to stick all of Cyberpunk 2077 on that game card. So, like, that isn't just a key. Like, the actual game is fucking on there, according to them. Did that change?
I know there was something that changed. I know that definitely something has changed, and I don't know if it was related to first-party titles only and if third-party titles still have the ability to have their games, or that they're going to continue to have their games. I just know that something in the last couple weeks, people have been talking about these stupid changes to these game carts, and now they're actually just keys, whether they say they are or they're not.
I think that there's a difference between. Well, there's a difference between, let's say you buy the game, like, this right here. Having a great time with Capcom Fighting Collection 2, by the way.
Power
if
Stone?
you buy it, it's... Yes, I forgot. So I don't have it for Dreamcast. It's one of those titles I just don't have in my little collection. I forgot how much I loved it. Anyway, and Power Stone 2 is just total chaos. Happy Console Gamer nailed it. It is just kind of total chaos. But there's a difference between having all the information on the disc and then it downloads to your console, but then it requires the disc to run it. I think that's one thing. It's another thing to have almost no information on the cart or disc, and then having to go to the internet to download everything. I think there's a difference there. Maybe it's so minute it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just a step in the wrong direction for me. Maybe I'm just too right-wing for this conversation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. Your political leanings, Fox. You're the kind of person that reads some of the information and then fully believes it. That's how
I just glean something totally different. Yeah, it makes sense.
Like James Hates Everything is the same way. Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a dangerous. I think it sets a dangerous precedent. Yeah. Maybe it's a slippery slope argument. I don't know. Maybe it's where they could go, and I want to nip it in the bud before it gets there. And maybe it's just the fact that, listen, I think we're losing something when we lose physical media, but it may just be like Thanos inevitable.
Yeah. Well, Hunter, 1 second, Marcel. James Hates Everything, $5 super chat. It hasn't changed, but Nintendo is only offering 2 cards, the key card or the 64 gigabyte cards. So lower cost games are going to the key because of costs. Thank you very much, James. Great comment. Nostalgia, what were you going to say? Sorry about that.
My whole point is that, well, first off, MG was like, if you don't like the rules, don't buy it. And that's literally what we started off this conversation. I said I was considering canceling my pre-orders. So just on that. But my whole point is that the idea of these rules, these things that are happening, are super anti-consumer. And from me, as like my personal core value, is that if I buy any product, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an AtGames machine, if it's a Nintendo Switch 2, if it's a 3D printer, if it's whatever the hell it is, it's mine. If I want to do something to it, I can. And I should be able to. I should be able to do whatever the hell I want without the company then interfering, as long as what I'm doing is not illegal. So if I'm not hurting anyone else, it's not illegal. Why should they be able to come in and cause me not to be able to use my device? Right? Like, I get it if they see that I've somehow hacked the system and I'm downloading free games and side loading crap. I get that. And it's too widespread. It's too open-ended, and there's far too much room for interpretation within the writings in those license agreements.
I think put it at risk. And to the gateway drug was the ease of accessibility and the cheaper costs. Initially, in the mid-2000s, to download a game was a cheaper option than buying a physical game, and you didn't have to go to the store. You would just download it and you would have it, but it would be physically on your hard drive there until your hard drive dies, right? And then this whole conversation has radically changed. The games are just as expensive, not more, for copies that you don't physically own, and then they're tethered to some sort of internet connectivity. Sometimes it's being connected all the time. Sometimes it's just a verification process. And there's just this progression of moving in sort of the wrong direction, in my opinion. But there could be a nostalgia sort of play here. I think Paul said something about Evercade, but maybe there could be some sort of, we see vinyl coming back. Is it possible that we could see some sort of a super limited edition versions of games become physical, like maybe limited run or something like that, where you pay a premium to physically own the game, which counterproductive, but it's still an option, maybe.
Well, all right, okay.
One more thing. I just got to talk to MG a little bit, because he keeps coming at me. And I gotta respond to it. So he says there's rules in life. If I buy a piece of land, I still have to pay taxes on it. Nothing is ever yours. That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about what his direct reference there. That's not. And when I buy a PlayStation 5, I can do whatever the fuck I want to it, and Sony's not going to break
it's yours.
I can buy an Xbox Series X today and do whatever the fuck I want with it. I literally had games running on it, retro games running on it, which is, actively piracy. And Xbox didn't come in and brick my console. What they did is they said, no, what they did is they identified, hey, you're using emulators that you shouldn't. Blocked the emulator, not the console, not my account. That's a completely different conversation. And if Nintendo wants to step in and say, hey, we see you're using unauthorized software, we're blocking the use of that software, I'm all for that. Wouldn't have a problem. But the idea of bricking my console in the event that I've modified
that's
it,
messed
that's
up.
the
That's
modifying my console, that's silly. We're talking about a completely different thing. Mike, you can go ahead and shift gears if you need to.
Sony did go in and pull Concord from everybody's hard drive, though. So there's all kinds of crap stuff going on with all different companies.
And that was wrong.
Yeah, I do want to bring this up. A little bit of fun news for current Nintendo Switch owners, especially if you're part of the Nintendo Switch Online program. A couple of Game Boy games came to the platform this past week, just out of nowhere. The stuff with the regular Switch Online, they don't do a good job of updating that. The games are like, I don't even know what the fuck Survival Kids is, but it's some kind of weird RPG game. Maybe I've never heard of it before. So Survival Kids
is the prequel to Dragon Ball, Mike.
Is it really?
Look at this guy. He's literally a baby Goku.
Stop it. No.
How do you guys not know this game? Come on.
His hair is not standing on
I've never
end.
heard of
That's
Survival
not
Kids.
Goku.
I don't give a shit about that.
I know, but it's Game Boy.
The excitement, Gradius, the Interstellar Assault. So Gradius, that's fun. This is really the A+ that's coming here. The other two games are Kirby, which I guess gets the Kirby appeal. I've never played this Kirby Star Stacker game. It's like a Yoshi's Cookie Tetris type game. Like for puzzle games, I'm either playing, Tetris or Dr. Mario. Like everything else, I just don't really give a shit about.
Yeah, there's no value.
And then last but not least, we've got a RPG called Sword of Hope. I'm not familiar with this, but what is it? Kimco? Or is that who it is? Kekmo? What's the name of the company? I want to go back here. Kimco. So this is like old school, like very first.
Oh my god! Look at that.
You know what I mean? Like this is like first Dragon Warrior and like the old Dungeons and Dragons games on the NES. Like this is this level. So Sword of Hope might be interesting. I'm definitely going to play the Gradius game, but like rough. Like if you are that bottom tier Nintendo Switch Online, like with NES, Super Nintendo, and then Game Boy, we've really been getting some shit lately. We have not been getting good quality. It's rough.
Is Adventure Island on the online pass? Adventure Island 2 for the either NES or for Game Boy. Do you know if it's on there?
I'm not sure because the Adventure Island license is actually held by Konami, and Konami hasn't played great with like Nintendo for their online stuff. Like none of the Konami stuff has come out on, well, not none, but very limited of the Konami stuff has come on to the Nintendo Switch Online services. They've usually done their own thing, like the Cowabunga collection with Turtles, Castlevania collection, Contra collection. They haven't participated really in the Switch Online stuff.
Well, that's why I need to be able to hack my Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah,
that's the reason. So I can
obviously,
Adventure Island 2 for the NES on it because I've got no other way to play it.
About the Switch 2, which actually will transition us into our final topic. One person who's been very adamant, saying a lot of the things you're saying, Nostalgia, about the Nintendo Switch 2, saying that he's not buying it and telling people not to buy it, is our buddy Glenn Planamento. So Glenn is saying not to buy it.
Oh.
I think Glenn is saying not to buy it because he thinks that anything coming out is competition for his Build a Cade FU, and he doesn't want anybody.
To be fair, I would never tell anyone not to buy the Switch 2.
No, you do what you want to do. Yeah.
I honestly believe that you should do what you want to do with your money.
Sure.
I'm just telling you, this is how I feel about it. I still may buy the damn thing. I already have 2 of them pre-order. I still may buy it and maybe a giant hypocrite at the end of the day. It's just
that would be
that would be a radical departure from what you usually do. Yeah,
thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
No, but we just give our 2 cents. It's like, hey, we're not going to judge you if you do something different than what we say or recommend. It's fine. I mean, it's your money. Do what you want to do with it. That's fine.
Yep. Except for you, MG. Fuck you.
Yeah, you're the one exception, MG.
Hey, nobody talks. Nobody talks.
You must do exactly what
MG like that. I hope he's still in the chat.
I think he's gone.
No, I hope he's still here. I hope
MG has left the chat. Yeah,
he might have left. Like,
how
dare you.
not very nice.
You bastard.
No, he's got to be here. And if not, someone will share it with him.
I'm trying to find this post from Glenn today because Glenn actually did provide an update about his Build a Cade FU. It looks like Kickstarter is going to be going live in June. So I'm trying to find the actual picture, but I can't seem to find it. Let's see if it's under the Build a Cade FU official page. One of Glenn's 600 fan groups he operates on Facebook. Let's see if I can find the picture there. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I'll just show it. So here's the funny thing. I think Glenn is still operating in a world where people build their own websites with all the GIFs and everything on there. You remember those old websites? Like people build their own and like they'd have a million pictures. It's not
currently 2003?
Yeah.
What?
So anyways, he put this up and I was like, Jesus, Glenn, there's a lot going on this page, but it looks like the Build a Cade FU is going to be going up for Kickstarter in June 2025. Man, there's a lot of stuff on this.
Well, you know what else? There's a lot going on with the FU.
Yeah, that's why.
So
the Build a Cade FU is coming up for pre-order June 2025. Good to see that finally moving forward. But the reason why I'm bringing this up specifically, not just because the pre-store Netscape Gold Editor, there you go. That's what I like Glenn's stuff. It's old school. Yeah, even his what is it? His thumbnails and everything, really super old school. So Glenn's got his Build a Cade FU coming up. The Build a Cade FU was the first large scale product, 3/4 or above, that was going to give us an option to make a Nintendo cab. So we all know about that. Obviously, there's a add-on where you can add a hood. And then you're going to have to go buy your art. You're going to have to get a different control panel to get the accurate control panel. But you can build a full-size Nintendo cabinet. And that was...
Before you just... It's something actually really important about that.
What?
Do you think that Nintendo's going to brick those?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. So anyways, a reason why I bring this up, why this was interesting, is because also, let me just... bring this up, stop sharing, make sure there's no butts on the screen because I know people get upset about that. But
depends on the butt.
Well, that's 100% right. It completely depends on the butt.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we could have lost the channel. Like there's some stuff on my Twitter that's not safe for YouTube. Like it's not good.
I'm glad I'm here for it. That's
the
main thing.
This happens every time Mike shares a screen.
Oh yeah,
something is shown.
And he acts like it's the first time. He's totally shocked.
Whoa, how'd this happen?
Hey.
All right. So we did get this little piece of information here this week from our buddy G.I. Joel Gaming from Arcades Anonymous. He came on my show and he'd been talking about doing something like this for a while. I know his buddy Stockjock was pushing him to make a Robotron cab, but he's made a shell that he's looking to sell now for people to mod and make their own Nintendo cabinet. And I said this on the show. I still believe this. How come no one's done this before, came up with this idea? Because like early in the Arcade1Up modding days, a lot of people did mods, but it was just, getting art, sticking it on the shark fin. And then you were like, I got a tapper cab when it's not a fucking tapper cab, but actually getting the shape and everything now, that's such a cool thing. So I don't know why no one's ever done it before. It seems like a brilliant idea for modding, like to get the actual shape and to build a deluxe cab. So I'm super excited about this. I'm not a modder, but like this is something I would consider doing.
I can tell you why a lot of people aren't doing it. One, I think it looks slick. Like what he's done here is pretty cool. The challenge here is like, look how big the piece of wood is, right? Like the side panels.
Oh, I've talked about that. I've talked about that.
Yeah.
Shipping that across the damn country, it'd be expensive as all hell. So I think that's it. It's logistics. This is an incredible idea. And you're right. Like if people had been doing this as like at the very beginning when Arcade1Up had their little dinky Street Fighter and Rampage cabinets that were out there, like almost gutting the body of it and putting it into a proper form factor would have been better. But it would have been far too expensive to get this sort of thing moved around. And I mean, he's a one-man shop, so like how quickly can he CNC cut wood and ship it? And...
I don't know.
it is interesting to have the conversation where I got to buy a $300 Arcade1Up, then I got to buy a $400 shell to put it in. Well, that's kind of what the price for an Arcade1Up ended up being, in totality, right?
Mhm.
It is a great idea. It's a great idea to put this in an arcade accurate sort of shape. Is it too little, too late? I don't know. I think that this probably has a ton of options. It's not just limited to Arcade1Up PCBs or whatever, because there was no Nintendo Arcade1Up. You could take a stock PCB, right? If you could find, if the cat, and this is something that I've been advocating for a while. I took the measurements for the Big Blue and I passed this on to G.I. Joe and others. Recreate these cabinets. They don't have to be full size. They can be 3/4 and take the stock innards and put them in these more compact sizes that are arcade accurate. Obviously, the scale is shrunk down some. Solid side panels, 3/4 inch MDF or plywood or whatever. I think there's room for this premium sort of product, and it's also a way to kind of make these sort of these PCBs sort of live on in a way that kind of captures that smaller market. It's easier to move around. It's just there's a ton of good things to say about it. I can't speak to the how is this going to be financially viable? I don't know.
Sorry.
You're reading MG's comment.
I read
Yeah.
MG's comment.
MG's
It
incredible.
was well placed. It was well placed.
So, it's very interesting. I saw it, and then I saw like Retro Bill, Filthy Bill. He did a video and he said
Filthy Bill.
versus. Filthy Bill did a video versus, and I don't think he actually meant. That. Just one second. I don't think he actually meant that.
That's our show.
It was actually versus or whatever, right? I think what he meant was. He's talking about options, and that's the way I look at this. Like, I love what Glenn is doing, but in order to get a Nintendo cab, there's also a lot of modding involved with Glenn's cab. Glenn's cab is
Yes.
coming as that basic build-a-cade shape, and what Glenn's cab is probably going to be the ultimate multi-cade. It's probably going to be the best multi-cade to ever hit this home arcade space at that price point. Like, I'm really super excited for the multi-cade. But to turn it into a Nintendo cab, I mean, you're looking at how much for the hood. How much is that hood piece going to be? How much is the arc going to be? How much is the new control panel to make it like a Donkey Kong cab? There's lots of factors in there that is going to push that price up. So you have to take that in consideration. With this is also a mod product. You're going to have to, you don't necessarily have to have an Arcade1Up. You can source a buy stuff monitor to go in there. You can use a Raspberry Pi, and then get your own encoder board to go with it. So you don't really need an Arcade1Up to mod it, but you're still going to need to go get those other parts. So I think this is more of an option of Glenn's is giant, and not everybody's going to want a full-size product, especially if they have a room full of Arcade1Ups.
Right.
So this might be an option for them. To me, I don't see these competing. I see these as completely complementary products, and I'm just really happy we got so many cool options to have a Nintendo cab. After feeling for so long in the space, we were never going to get a fucking Nintendo cab.
It kind of comes down to, again, Apple versus Android. Some people want it out of the box, put it together, done. Some people don't mind the tinkering. Some people don't mind, I got to bring my own PC or Raspberry Pi or find the ROMs and all that. Some people don't mind that. So to your point, it is two different products, but that's what's going to be the sort of distinguishing factor is going to be what kind of person are you? If you want something out of the box that's just going to bolt together and you're done, this and Glenn's FU, that's not going to be something you're going to be interested in.
And some people are wrong. Some people are right.
That's right. Apple is obviously correct.
Yeah, okay. Maybe if you're a loser.
Hey, yeah, easy. That's hurtful.
I 100% just ostracized probably 50% of our audience just by saying that. And I'm okay with it because I feel strongly that Android is the superior.
But I think that's why
technology.
These two products can exist in the same space, whether it's smartphones or home
That's
arcade products. They
That's
could
right.
absolutely exist because they're different people.
Now,
And one is clearly better than the other.
I've been very open about this.
Zune for life. Does anyone even remember the Zune? Oh my god!
Everybody.
I had a Zune.
Everybody.
Yeah,
remembers the
I'm
Zune,
not
but
surprised by that, Fox. Of course you had a
You
goddamn
bastard.
Zune.
How dare you?
Everybody
Yeah.
remembers the Zune from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because that was the big finale, right? When his
No, I
Walkman
had
was
the
destroyed.
little mini Zune before I got the
Yeah.
iPod.
Oh
So,
man.
I want to say very honestly, like, obviously I'm not much of a modding guy. Like I've never really done it because like there's certain elements to this. Like you talked about fixing your controller earlier and you're like, I could just get a piece for $13. I look at it this way. I have no fucking time in life. So on top of getting the piece for $13, how long is it going to take me to take apart the controller, do it
Well, the
all
fear.
up? If it's right, if it's right, wrong, all that
Yeah.
stuff. You know what?
A
I'm just
lot
going to
less
fucking
time than
buy
it's
it.
going to take you to package it up, ship it out.
Oh,
Drive yourself to
package it up,
the.
ship it out. I'm just going to order a new Joy-Con.
Yeah.
That's the world I live in, right? Like
I
I
guess
some
we're
people want
there,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, some people want to open up the
It's just
Joy-Con
worth it
and
to me.
figure it out, and some people just want to buy a replacement. It's there you go.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's
Yeah.
okay. I enjoy that stuff though. I think, and well, I mean, I'm literally that's what my whole channel's goddamn built on is like tinkering with shit.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's not for everyone, and that's fair. There are people like you, Mike, and then there are people that are right.
You piece of shit.
Yes.
So
That's fair. That's fair.
I think this is one I would like to try though. Like I would probably have to get some help with somebody much more talented than me, or else I'll have another dresser Cade on my hands. But
Oh, God.
like I this is something I've always wanted. I've always wanted a DK cab, and the plan originally was like maybe I'll get 2 of Glenn's, but realistically, price wise and shipping to Canada, that's going to be a fucking nightmare. So maybe I'll just do the multi-cab with Glenn's with the big screen. And maybe then I'll do G.I. Joel's and just mod a cab and make a Nintendo cab. Always wanted the Donkey Kong cab ever since I watched King of Kong. Like it's been a dream of mine. So I have made up my mind now. I'm going to keep some of my deluxe cabs because we're never getting XL versions. Like it's just not happening. So
It's not going to happen.
yeah. So I think that's the way I would go. Glenn's cab, kudos to anybody who's doing a Nintendo cab with it. That'll probably be really slick looking because I know Zabo's involved and stuff like that. But for Donkey Kong, like I think maybe I'll go the smaller version and just go with like a deluxe to fit in with my Arcade1Ups. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. We'll see what you do.
Yeah.
I wish him all the best. I hope that the Kickstarter, is it Kickstarter or GoFundMe that he's doing?
Glenn is doing a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
He wasn't going to do a Kickstarter originally. He was going to do a Glenn starter, which is just a pre-sale on his own webpage. But he did decide to go the Kickstarter route. I know that the success of Wonderland, like, kind of,
Push
turned
him in
him
that
on there.
direction.
So
But there's
yeah.
different types of exposure you get with successful campaigns on Kickstarter too that are just organic exposure. So I hope that he hits his targets, he gets this released.
Me too.
And that people actually see it because his stuff has always been some of the best that you can buy in the space.
Everything except for his Tron stick, which sucks. I hate his Tron stick.
Is that true?
I'm not joking.
You don't like it?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Like he sent me something like this thing busted apart. It was on sideways. I did not like his Tron stick, and it's too small.
Well, and he actually sent me his yoke, his flight yoke, that it was supposed to be installed on my Star Wars cabinet. And I was supposed to make a video on it, but my Star Wars cabinet died. The PCB browned out, and I wasn't able to install. So I was like, okay, well, now I can't. I don't have anything to show this off with.
Oh, his yoke was amazing, fantastic. I love it. Yeah,
incredible quality. So
yeah,
just if you're buying his stuff, you're going to get a good quality product. It's just hope that we can see it through and actually get this thing shipped.
I really need him to make a bigger Tron stick that doesn't feel so dainty.
Mike, you just got to learn to use and you got to master the skill of working with tiny equipment. It's not that hard. I've been doing it for my whole life.
Yeah. You should see the picture of the spider I saw in my toilet the other day. Do you want me to send it to you?
Okay. Wait, hold on. Wait, what is the spider? What are we talking about?
Oh, it's this crazy spider in my toilet. I'll send you the picture.
Okay, sick.
All right, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Kudos to G.I. Joel for making this. Like, I think this is an option that a lot of people will like. Is this going to sell like thousands and thousands of units? Probably not. But, it's good to see him branching out and doing something different than what he's currently doing. And it's always exciting to see a community member do that kind of stuff. So good for him. And, good for Glenn getting the Kickstarter up for the GRS Build-A-Cade FU. It's a product we've been very excited about for a long time. So I'm excited to see what it's like. I also, for me, like, it's not such a big issue for you guys. I think shipping in the US, like, he's going to try to make it pretty affordable. Wonderland did a good job of that. Hopefully Glenn can as well. My concern is shipping to Canada, so I might have to skip the Kickstarter and hope that he works something out with buy stuff in order to be able to afford it. Yeah.
Sad but true. Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys,
Oh, yeah.
we're almost at 2 hours, and Fox, you got to go celebrate this weekend. Me and Nostalgia don't have a long weekend, but you got to go celebrate. So, anything you guys want to say before we clue it up?
I got something. I got something that was sent to me by a little company called Anbernick, and I actually think Fox, you might be interested in this.
Talk to me.
So I don't know if you remember, but you received a package a little while ago for a handheld device from Anbernick.
I did.
And
Game Boy SP sort of form factor. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So that came out like what, a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, whatever it was. They've released another product that I don't know if it just started shipping.
That's so unlike them. They don't release products that often.
Almost
odd.
Never. But what's interesting is it's this.
Oh my God. That is radically different than anything we've ever seen before.
That's exactly right. But the problem is that they've done a lot of really dumb stuff with this one. The screen's a weird orientation, it has a giant forehead on the top, and they've included thumbsticks, which was actually one of the things that I wish they had done. But the thumbsticks are convex. They have like a convex
why would you
top.
do such a thing?
It's just weird. So anyways, I've got something really interesting coming up. If you like the retro gaming handhelds, I'm going to be working on a little video to kind of go through the pros and cons. It's a cheap one. It's not expensive. It's actually cheaper than the RG35XXX SP.
Oh, wow.
And it uses the same
cheap.
chipset, but there's some weird stuff with it. So if you guys care about that shit, keep an eye out. I've got some videos on the way for that.
And I would like to take a moment at this time to remind people that literally the only gaming handheld you ever need to buy is the Analog Pocket. Whatever Nostalgia selling is a piece of shit compared to that. Keep that in mind.
This one's actually a pretty slick one, but it's wildly expensive. This is the IN Neo Pocket Ace. This thing runs Nintendo Switch games. This thing runs Nintendo Wii U games. Like, this thing's a little powerhouse right here.
That's rad and all.
What's that?
That's rad and all.
He said that's rad and all.
Oh, whatever, dude. Whatever. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Analog Pocket for life.
Bro, does it even run Adventure Island 2? But does it even actually run Adventure Island 2 though?
But does it really?
Does it really?
Really?
It runs Adventure Island 2 perfectly. It runs Super Adventure Island perfectly. It runs New Adventure Island on the TurboGrafx 16 perfectly.
But aren't you worried that Nintendo's going to brick it?
No.
They're known to do that.
It could happen.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This has been a strange but yet cathartic episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Hopefully, P-Dubs will be back next week. I know I cannot replace him by any means, but, we try to do our best, and what the fuck else are you going to do Friday night, right? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy lots of beer, barbecue, fireworks, babes in bikinis, girls on trampolines, whatever the hell you got going on. Enjoy your weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, good night from the Super Game Room Dudes.
So let's just wait here. It's all good.
Just hit whatever.
It's not like you had this prepared
in your
or
time,
anything.
Mike. It's fine. Whenever you get ready.
Good. It's all good. This is pretty comfortable.
Now you're looking at now.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great news.
This
anytime.
Man, Fox